I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces.
Hey guys, welcome back to not another episode of Huddle. We're actually doing something different, and we're planning on doing this segment once a month at the end of the month. Not quite sure what to call it yet. We spent at least the last 2 weeks bickering and debating over what we should call it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of been intense. Real quick, Stacy, Beth, Ash.
Howdy.
We're not quite sure what we want to do with this. It's going to be 2 movies. I pick one, Ash picks one. Sometimes they will be horror, thriller, psychological thriller, something funky, or it might be something not necessarily horror strictly, but has horror elements to it.
Yeah.
So we're not quite sure what to call it. And if you guys are watching and if y'all want to comment and you haven't commented yet, please, by all means, help us out. We're not sure what we want to do.
And honestly, the best we could come up with was random roundup. So anything y'all come up with. Yeah, we
did random roundup, monthly mashup, terror twofer. We don't know what the hell we want to call this, but we're going to go ahead and do this anyways because we feel like we need to make this happen.
So yeah, please, in the comments, give us your ideas, and you know what? If we choose yours, we'll give you a shout out in the video.
Oh yeah, definitely, because you will have come up with the name for whatever.
You will have saved our asses on this.
Exactly, yes, which we plan on doing once a month at the end of the month. Okay. So this month we have decided on 2 movies. My pick was 2013's Holy Ghost People. Yes. And do you want to just go straight into that one?
Yeah, let's go straight into it.
Cool, awesome. Okay, so it's called Holy Ghost People. It was released in 2013. It was directed by Mitchell Altieri, who is a part of the Butcher Brothers, who directed The Hamiltons. It was one of the 8 films to die for from the After Dark Fest, and the April Fool's Day remake. Anyways, not going to go into that. But it basically follows this chick, Charlotte, who's played by Emma Greenwell, who I guess is in this TV show called Shameless, follows her, and she wants to go find her sister, Liz, who is a drug addict. She kind of, and so Charlotte enlists the help of this ex-Marine / alcoholic Wayne, who's played by Brendan McCarthy, who I found out was one of the werewolves in True Blood. I don't remember him. Yeah, I looked him up. I don't either. I don't remember.
That comes as a surprise to me.
I think he was one of the one-off guys.
No, it's not really shocking because, dude, look how scruffy looking he is in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of fits.
Yeah. So she enlists his help. She kind of met him through the bar that she works at. She's a bartender. And enlists his help to go find the sister. And what she knows is that the sister is at this church called the Church of One Accord, which is almost like those Pentecostal churches. They're like snake handlers, kind of using the snakes to, like, I guess, get their salvation with the Holy Ghost and stuff. You know, just totally crazy. And I'm not quite sure where this takes place.
Well, I'm trying to remember. I think it was in Alabama.
They said like the Appalachian Mountains. Someone said one of the other parts of IMDb. They said that, so I wasn't too sure. But who knows? It's kind of that.
It's a big religious compound, kind of like a little bit like Jonestown. Kind of, I noticed they was kind of giving that the feel.
Yeah. Well, apparently, so Holy Ghost People is another title of this 1967 documentary, where it's and the black and white footage you see in the movie was taken from that documentary, and it follows these Pentecostal Christians, and that's their whole thing, is the snakes and the hands on the head and going crazy and, you know, all this
snake handles.
So she goes on this pretense of finding her sister and kind of meets the main guy, the leader, Brother Billy, who's played by Joe Edgender, who I think he produced it, co-wrote it, starred in it as well. And real skinny, scrawny dude. You know, what did we call him? Poor man's Giovanni Ribisi.
Yeah, because he looks like he's his brother. There's such a striking resemblance.
Totally, it's like a poor man Giovanni Ribisi, but way better actor, which is great. I think he was kind of amazing.
I thought you had best acting in the movie.
Skinny, scrawny dude, leader of the church, really fucking charming, you know, and he's got his right-hand man who's Brother Sherman, who's played by Dan or Don Harvey, one of those. That's just like a right-hand dude. He's throughout the movie with him. Kind of
but that character was intentionally always from the beginning. You could tell he's like, that's the guy who kills people.
That's the dickhead, yeah. He's the enforcer. So, yeah, she goes in trying to find the sister, but also, in order to not sound like she's trying to find her, says that Wayne is her dad, which is like
kind of weird.
He doesn't even look like he's old enough to be her damn older brother. Come on now, you know.
No, maybe it's a sugar daddy. I would be like, okay.
Understandable, yeah. So she goes in saying that that's her dad. He's an alcoholic. They want to get, you know, help for him and stuff. So he's like, cool, y'all can come in. Kind of already knows, you know, something's up with them. And then the story just goes from there. Her finding out what happened with her sister and realizing how off these people are. And they're not your typical, like in those cult movies, it's, oh my God, they're killing people left and right.
Yeah, they kind of took a very, almost like for a lot of more sympathetic roles. Like I cannot remember the character's name, but the one that was scars all over.
That is Sister Sheila.
Yeah, you know, her character was just always like, oh, I want to see her. And
of course, you can tell she's the one who's like going to be the one to help them. And I think she and Wayne kind of get a liking to each other. Take a look in, you know. And then there's Brother Cole, who's the black dude who is in it, but he forms a bond with Wayne really quickly through their service, like their in the military and stuff like that. And so you also know he's going to be a good guy, which he does turn out to be.
He turns out to be at the close end.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't find any other info on it as far as like budget or nothing like that, but it seemed like it had a fairly decent budget. This is not a very well-known movie by any means, because I hadn't heard of it. It's on Hulu in case anyone wants to watch it.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the budget was fairly low, because honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they filmed at an existing camp or something up there.
No, they did.
So that helps.
Camp in Tennessee.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. So yeah, they already had that. It didn't stray too far from that area. And, you know, in the beginning, you see the bar, and then you see some trailers and stuff. So you're like, that sounds about right. Excuse me, sounds about right.
I will say the location I loved, because when I watched, I was like, dude, it looks exactly like East Texas.
Dude, seriously, right? I mean, everything is. I'm like, oh man, yeah, that bar looks like a bar we'd hang out at. Cool, sounds right there.
The acting through the movie, I thought the main snake handler,
Brother Billy,
Brother Billy, I think he was my favorite actor in the movie. He got down that charismatic, kind of yet somewhat menacing.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not going to lie. The first time I watched the movie, I was like, what's up? You know what? If I was forced to marry him, I'd bang him. Like, I'm like,
I know what you're thinking. Like, I'd handle a snake.
Oh, God damn it. I let a snake charm me. All right.
And let's get to that point. Snake handlers. Okay, that just freaked me out. I do not like snakes.
Yeah.
I'm around them a lot, especially rattlers. Stay away from them. When I see a person pick one up, I'm like, dude, you know, you say it's God just trying to say, oh, I'm spiritual. No, God gave you common sense not to pick up rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
If one bites you, it's God laughing at you for being an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I saw that every single time I saw him with snakes, I was like, please, one bite him. Please, please, someone get bit.
And of course, somebody gets bit towards the end. Freaking Wayne. I mean,
he deserves it. He shouldn't have picked up a rattlesnake.
And throughout the movie, you can tell that Brother Billy is liking Charlotte, even though, and he knows, and not like I'm liking her because I really feel some feels for her. No, he's like, I'm gonna make this bitch marry me. I'm gonna force her to. She ain't leaving, or she's dead.
Yeah.
You know, and Wayne kind of just doesn't. He's sobered up by this time. He's kind of detoxed and shit. And he's like, you know what? This is bullshit. I want to fucking stay with these people because you're a fucking liar. You lied to me about this and this and this. I'm going to stay with these people. He gets it in his hand, the snake in his hand.
Yeah, it was that final transformation moment where it's like, he is now a believer. Praise Jesus. Oh, he just got bit by a snake.
Yeah. And they were going to leave him to die. They were going to leave him to die because he was a fucking liar too, and it kind of that's when shit starts really popping up. You're like, whoa, this guy's going to die. Wayne's dying. Now it's just Charlotte. It's up to her to kind of get out of this. And what I loved is in that third act when everything changed, because right before that third act happened, Sister Sheila, the woman with all the scars, goes and gives him, she gave him the antidote, right?
Yeah.
She snuck in and gave Wayne the antidote because he was on his deathbed. He was going to go. She gave him the antidote, and he came up, he started kicking ass, and at this point, Charlotte's over here already married to the dude and starts whooping ass over here. So then they fucking meet up, and she's almost, stoned to death. And it's
you find out that's how Charlotte.
And then you find out that's
Yeah.
No, is that how she did it? I thought that's how they were showing how her sister died.
No, but Charlotte said that she was a wife, and luckily she survived.
Oh, I thought she got lashes.
No, she was stoned. That's where all the scars came from.
You learn something new every day. But yeah.
Okay, let's kind of talk about the ending.
The ending got to me. The movie was never really exciting. You were intrigued. It kept.
It was really enjoyable. It really kept
fast paced. It was never fast paced. It was a constant, just straight throughout. But it was good. It kept your interest. Yeah. And the ending. And I wrote it down because I couldn't quite figure out the word for it. It was a little bit of like a letdown. It was a little bit of a letdown.
It was underwhelming.
Thank you. Very underwhelming. It was a letdown. It was not climactic. It was just like, in a movie that you think this guy's going to get his comeuppance. He's going to get fucking killed. Badass. I can't wait for this.
Well, and especially after what happened, the third act, it was very like guns, shooting, people dying, and it's like, yes, yes, yes. And you get to the final part, and it's like,
oh, wow, yeah.
And then you just kind of sit there going, is something going to happen? Will the water spontaneously combust into fire? And you're like, oh my God, this is end times?
Yeah. He basically walks into a lake and drowns himself.
While being held at gunpoint by
Wayne,
who could easily have just like, fuck this, shoot him.
Yeah.
No, he just stands there with the shotgun as the other guy walks right into the water.
It's very perfect word, underwhelming, completely underwhelming. It was a little disappointing in that aspect, but it wasn't enough to make the movie unenjoyable for me.
No, it's still worth watching.
Absolutely.
It's still a good movie.
Really liked the movie. The soundtrack was really great.
Yes.
I forgot to write down who did it. They did the score. But it was really, really cool. The songs were cool, really folky, really indie, really neat. Like everything was just really done well. All the actors were and I went on IMDb and looked at like half the congregation actors all had the same last names. So you could tell they were all family. Like they just all hired on a bunch of family from the town, or probably like, come on, like come be in the background of this movie.
Also, I want to bring up your and my examples of how it should have ended. You want to go with yours first?
Yeah, so I wanted it to end, Billy's walking into the water, and he's singing this kind of gospel-y, folky song, and midway through stops, Wayne's like, what are you doing? With the gun pointed at him, like, what are you doing, man? Why are you walking into the water? And he's just like, I'd like to think that, we would have ripped up New Orleans together, man. We would have been chasing tail like hound dogs and blah, blah, blah. And we'll meet again when, maybe in a lake like this, but it might be on fire, something like that. I was thinking, man, midway through this stupid spiel, just blow his fucking head off, like mid-sentence, blow his head off. And that would have been like, oh, shit. That's how I would have liked to have seen it.
Which visually, that would have been great because you see the head blow off.
He's not looking at Wayne,
in the water.
He's not looking at Wayne while this is happening, while he's talking. So it'd be great to have a camera facing Billy's face. You can't see Wayne behind him, and you just see his head blow up. That would have been
that would have been awesome. The one I was thinking of was in the movie, he takes what's her face, the main girl, into his snake room, which is basically just room full of rattlesnakes. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, if he would have been chased into that room, got shot in the gut, not necessarily killed, shot in the gut, he falls back, the snakes are now loose, and he's sort of dying, but he's taking these snakes going, oh God, I'm worthy of you, and every single one of those snakes attacks and bites him. I'm like, oh, that would have been great.
And he just died like Kill Bill 2 style, with just all these snake bites on him and stuff. I think either one would be kind of fucking.
Yeah, both of those would have been way better.
I thought it was shot really well. I really loved the cinematography, if you want to get technical about it. I liked the cinematography, the lighting, everything was shot really well. It was just a really well done movie with a good script, with a good story, great actors.
It's a very good movie that is only kept from being very good because of a lackluster ending. So it's a good movie, but it could have been very good if the ending would have been better.
It could have been great with a good ending.
My criteria for great's pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But still, it's an enjoyable watch. I definitely think y'all should go see it.
Absolutely. It's on Hulu. So go watch that shit. Yeah. I think it's a good one. But let's talk about your pick now.
Yeah, my pick probably is a little bit more well-known. I'm sure most of the people watching this have seen it, and if you haven't, you should. It's 1990's Misery. Directed by Rob Reiner, who also directed Stand By Me, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Stand By Me. And some other ones, I just listed these When Harry Met Sally and A Few Good Men. So it's like, whoa.
Let's see, it stars James Caan and Kathy Bates, who won an Academy Award for Best Actress because of this movie. It's didn't you say that Up to Date is the only Stephen King movie?
No, in 91, she was the first woman to win an Oscar for a horror thriller.
Yeah. But also, didn't you say that out of all of Stephen King's adaptations, is the only one that won an Academy Award?
Yep. Or to win an Oscar?
Oscar is an Academy Award, same thing. But, okay, let's get into the plot. Okay, Paul Sheldon.
Academy Award, sorry. I had to look at my notes. It was going to bug me if I...
Oscar and...
She won an Oscar, the movie won an Academy Award. Okay, there we go.
Okay, basically, its premise is pretty great. It's Paul Sheldon, who is a trashy romance novelist who's now finally gotten done with his newest manuscript, which is it's something completely different, trying to get him out of that weird, kind of stigma of being a romance novelist. And he's up at, I'm trying to remember, is it Colorado Springs? No, Silver Creek, Colorado, way up in the mountains. He finishes the manuscript and he decided to drive back to New York to give it to his publicist. In the middle of driving down the mountain, he gets caught in a big blizzard. His car goes off the road, crashes, and he's basically stuck there.
Yeah.
Definitely going to die. And then out of nowhere, Deus Ex Machina comes around, Annie Wilkes, who is a nurse. She saves him, pulls him out of the car, takes him back to her house up in the mountains, kind of very isolated. He wakes up, finds out both of his legs have been broken, and I think his shoulder has been fractured, dislocated, like that. And she tells him, oh, yes, I've saved you. The phone lines are down, but I can go into town to call your publicist, call, the authorities to let them know you're safe. And everything's going to be fine, but you just, until the roads are clear and no one can get up here, I can only get to town and back.
Yeah.
So, just hold steady, but I'll take care of you. And let me just say, I'm your number one fan. I love Misery. And he's like, oh, good.
Yeah, she makes it a point to say, I am your number one fan.
She absolutely loves it. Loves that series. And basically, things start going very odd. Her personality seems to shift quite drastically depending on her mood.
And in one moment in particular.
Yeah, and he starts to realize not everything's on the level.
Yeah.
And let's just go from there. That's the basic.
The moment we realize something's a little hinky here is when she reads the manuscript she had already written.
Yeah, it was a manuscript about boys, just young boys in the slums, talking, cursing. That was the whole big thing. It's like, why does there have to be so much profanity?
Almost like Stand By Me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she starts freaking out about there being cursing in the novel, and I mean, she loses her shit.
Yeah, she breaks a chair. I was at a chair or anvil over the bed.
No, she has the tray of food. No.
Yeah, tray of food.
Oh, no, the soup, but she spills.
Yeah, she spills full of soup, and she's like, "Look what you did! Look what you made me do!" And she breaks something over the bed, and then he's like, "Oh my god!" And as soon as she freaks out, she gets like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, and just walks out, and he's like, dude, something's weird here.
And from there, it just kind of gets worse and worse and worse. And I'm sure y'all have seen it, and you know how worse it gets.
Yeah.
I mean, what I
y'all know
about her is how was her cursing? It was like cockadoodie and, stuff like that, or however she would say it. I don't remember, but I just always remember being really funny.
Yeah, and her character just so amazingly done. Both of them in that movie was so good.
Mm. Yeah, and I saw that the movie was only made on a budget of $20 million, but box office I think was like $61 million.
Yeah, something like that. But you can tell why it was, because just like Holy Ghost people, a lot of the stuff in that movie, because of where it was shot and the kind of the premise, it was only filmed. Most of those scenes was in a house.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it was so intense, that movie. Like, it wasn't like your typical horror movie. It was a psychological thriller, really. You knew that it was ramping up to the final fucking crazy.
Yeah, and like a few scenes, like when she gets the latest Misery novel, and she finds out the final, and she talks about it. She's reading, she's like, "Oh my God, it's so good, Paul. Oh, I love it." And then he wakes up one night, and it's thundering outside, but he sees her looming over the bed. She's like, "You did it. You killed her."
Yeah.
And that's when basically you find out.
He killed off Misery, and she did not like that.
But you find out she didn't call his publicist. She didn't call the ambulance. No one knows he's up there. No one knows he's alive.
Yep. And in between those scenes, you get, you're taken to the sheriff's office or the police department of that little town.
The sheriff,
Buster.
Sheriff Buster, yeah. And his
played by Richard Farnsworth.
Yep. And his deputy, Virginia. Which, let me just say, those are the only two other characters, really, that are predominantly in this movie.
Yeah.
They're so good. Just the interaction between the two are so fun.
I know, it's so cute. And they're husband and wife, right?
Yeah, it's husband and wife, so it's like, she puts her hand on his leg, and he's like, "You know what, when I have this on, I am the sheriff, and you are my deputy when I have this badge on." She's like, "Well, deputy just wants to take you home, or take the sheriff home and get in the sack." And you're like, "Oh, God."
Oh, it's so cute. That's going to be me and Adam when we're old. But
pretty much, yeah. All of the local law enforcement think he's dead. They found the car, they haven't found the body.
And Buster is going throughout the movie. He's kind of going to where Paul Sheldon would go and say, "Hey, have you heard from him?" "Oh, well, he normally orders this bottle of champagne. He normally does this. He normally does that."
And he's the only one that thinks he's alive because he saw on the car door the crowbar marks. And he's like,
"Yeah,
hey.
Someone got him out.
Yeah.
He didn't die out here. Someone got him out." Then he knew. And then eventually he starts to catch on that it's...
Well, yes, because basically after she finds out Misery's dead, she pretty much tells him, "You're here for the rest of your life." And the first thing she does, she gets the manuscript and makes him burn it. And then a few days later, she's like, "You know what? The Lord brought you here to me to write a new Misery novel."
Yeah. So we had to sit back. Yeah.
So she starts buying, typewriters, paper and stuff. And paper that smudges.
Yeah. And then that makes her lose it. And he had to walk on eggshells, obviously, because
but this whole time he's trying to get out. Like every single time she goes to town, he goes to the door the first time, it's locked. And he looks down. I think the next scene, he sees a hairpin. And he's like, makes in the little key, and she leaves. He goes out, and he goes around the house, and it's so creepy. Just the whole house that was so well done.
That's weird.
He sees all like, what was it, little glass figurines.
Yeah.
And then he finds a book, which basically has news clippings of Annie. Mm-hmm. And she was a nurse who was arrested but not charged for possibly murdering a ton of infants.
Yeah.
And at her trial, she, literally took quotes from his book.
And that's really how Buster found out it was her, was seeing these quotes. And,
Buster placed it together when he saw Annie leave, and he's like, "What'd she come in for?" "Oh, paper."
Yeah.
What kind of paper?
But he had seen at one point, I guess he saw that one quote in the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows the quote, and he looks at the Misery novels because he wanted to get into Paul Sheldon's head a little bit, and he's like, right there, wait, that right there, and he looks and he's like, yeah.
And then he saw the clippings as well through something else of Annie Wilkes, saw her quote, was like, whoa, okay, this is crazy.
But yeah, Paul Sheldon tries to get out and like tries to
Wait, real quick, talk about the hobbling scene.
No, we're getting to it. We're getting it. Trust me. But because the hobbling scene comes from him getting out of his room.
Yeah.
He, gets medication to try to, like drug her and everything. But in the process, knocks over one of the figurines and puts it backwards.
Yeah. And they make it a point to show you that, and you're like, she's gonna.
So yeah, and he also steals a knife, hides it under, like in between the cushions. He wakes up at night, strapped to the bed. He goes, reaches for the knife, kind of right there, and she's like, "Are you looking for this?"
It's all just so creepy.
Shit.
Yeah.
And then she talks. Talk about like the story behind the hobbling.
The hobbling. I don't remember. Is there a story?
Was it like jewel mines? Like if they caught people stealing jewels, they would not kill them because that's a good worker. But what they would do is hobble them.
Yeah, and you're like, and while she's telling this story, she's putting a piece of wood in between his legs and his ankles. And you're just like, oh, shit. And she's got a sledgehammer.
Yeah, she pulls out the sledgehammer. You're like, oh, no.
I mean, and she...
And then I can't remember exactly what she says before she does it. But
I don't like, either, because half
but it was something like, it's okay, it will only be a second. Bam!
I don't think anybody remembers.
Almost done. Bam! And she's like, pulls it out, and she's like, God, I love you. And you're like, oh...
Yes, it's awful.
And it's not as if you only see her point of view. You see the feet just going.
Oh, you see the feet, the ankles breaking. They do not hide that from you. And it is just one of the most painful things I've seen in a long fucking time from a movie.
Yeah, and I love that there were scenes in there that broke it up. Like when it showed, Annie Wilkes being not necessarily evil. It was like her with her pig.
Yeah. Misery. Yeah.
Stuff like that. Her playing Liberace albums.
Yeah.
Or there was one great one I still love when he's at the typewriter and he can't think of anything. He's like, oh, God, I hate this bitch. I hate everything. And he just starts typing fuck. And you're like, and he just looks at it and he's like, rips the page out.
Yeah. It's like you're being forced to write this novel or you're going to die. Or either way, you might fucking die.
Might die anyway.
Yeah. It's so well done. And it's like, I mean, it didn't need anything else. I mean, they just used sheer, terror. That's sheer terror. That is what's fucking scary. You don't need ghosts. You don't need creatures or monsters or anything else. No CGI, nothing. It's like, that all it is just a crazy bitch. And you can make a fantastic movie out of that. Yep,
and the ending very unlike Holy Ghost People, which I thought was led down a little bit by the ending of this one.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I mean, so damn good. So damn good. The acting was fantastic.
Yeah, across the board. Including his publicist.
Lauren Bacall, who I don't know our viewers know, but Lauren Bacall, she was big time in the 50s and stuff, Humphrey Bogart's wife and stuff, kind of an amazing fucking actress. It was really nice to see her in something beautiful, still older woman. I love her to death. But yeah, she's very bit part, just as publicist. You don't see her too much.
Only 2 or 3 scenes, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but across the board, I think every single acting in this movie was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was one forgettable character.
No, I don't think so either. I think everything was done really, really well, and like I said, it's just a fucking genuinely scary movie.
It is so good.
It's so scary. I can't get over it. I hadn't watched it in probably over 10 years. So when you said I want to do Misery, I was like, oh. Okay, fine, I'll watch it again. I got to get caught up with it. It's been a very long time since I've seen it. I was like, holy shit, this movie's fucking scary. What in the hell? How had I not seen this? Why do I not watch this once a year. Like,
and honestly, I think that it was so scary because the pacing of it was so well done, where it wasn't all just dread. There was those lighthearted moments to kind of break it up, to where it catches you off guard a bit when it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, there is that weird. Is that weird humor that's not funny, but it's just like you said, that kind of lighthearted bit to like take you out of the moment for a second, and then it throws you back in with her busting in the door, hearing the front door slam or something like that, you know.
Or when she leaves the room, she's like, "Oh, you're so great," and she's like, "Mwah!" And he's like, "Oh, I caught it," and then she leaves, and he's like.
I loved that. Yeah, it's just like, dude, this guy's like, fuck this bitch. I'm getting the fuck out of here, and I'm going to kill her before I do.
And I got to admit, James Caan, I don't know if that was the most uncomfortable role he's ever been in or the most comfortable, because the whole movie basically is him either laying down or sitting in a chair.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, it probably wasn't very comfortable. I mean,
yeah, still, I'd be like, laying down on that bed. Okay, yeah, just, okay, break.
Yeah. There's only, really with a movie like this, there's not much you can talk about except the acting. You know what I mean? Because there's not a lot of set locations. There's not. Yeah,
but the set locations that are in the movie are good. And also being set mostly from his point of view in that little room, you start feeling his kind of cabin fever, claustrophobia.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Sweating and in pain and can't do damn shit. And she's drugging him up every chance she can get. Yeah. So you kind of almost feel sick with him. You know, when you see certain parts, you're like, oh, God, this must suck. Like, oh, I would have just ran out of there. You're like, wait, no, you can't, because your legs are fucking broken. You are fucked.
Yep.
You know, you can jump out the window, but you're probably going to die anyways, you know? Like, there's nothing you could do because this woman was on top of it all. She knew everything. She knew when he moved. She knew when he did this, when he breathed wrong. Like, she had it all, you know? It's just a really fucking good movie. I haven't even read the novel, so I have no idea.
But, yeah. That was my choice. Hopefully, if you've seen it, hopefully you liked it. And if you haven't seen it, definitely go and see this one.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? But yeah, this is, of course, again, remember, guys, viewers, this is our first crack at this new segment. So, forgive us if we fumbled a little bit.
Yeah.
But we're trying to do something new. And, next month we might have some movies that aren't quite necessarily horror. Who knows, or scary or thrillers or whatever. We're kind of doing something crazy. I'm
going for the Jonas Brothers movie.
Ooh, they have a movie?
Yes.
Do they really? I love the Jonas Brothers.
There you go.
Oh my God. We're doing the Jonas Brothers movie next. No, we're not.
No.
We're not. We're not gonna terrorize you guys that much. Come on. But I think we terrorized y'all enough for this episode, hopefully. Again, like we said in the beginning, if you guys have any cool ideas for us to have a title for this segment, please, by all means, hook us up. We'll give you credit. We'll have you guys on a guest, whatever y'all want to do, but totally help us out. I think we're going to do that for tonight. So thanks for watching, guys.
Take care, y'all.
Next time. Bye. Hey, guys. Just a quick little notice here. We are not going to be having our usual horror huddle up next week. We're going to have it put up on the 12th of March. So there will be no video on March 5th like we would usually once a week. We're taking a little break for 1 week.
A siesta.
A little siesta, if you will. Yeah, there will be a little bit more written reviews, so be on the lookout for that. But March 12th, there will be a new horror huddle, so be on the lookout for that. Thanks, guys.